Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue joined the Soul Rebels live at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia on Saturday night. I spoke with Shorty about growing up in New Orleans, his lifelong friendship with Jon Batiste, and why he loves performing in the nation's capital. Hey, Trombone Shorty, hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in DC.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Now, we're talking because Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue with the Soul Rebels are coming to the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia this Saturday, March 2nd. I guess last summer, I think you played in our area down at Wolf Trap with Ziggy Marley, and we interviewed Ziggy. He was raving about your energy and your vibe, he said. But if folks saw you there at last summer at Wolf Trap, how would this year's show compare, the Shorty Gras? What make it different than what they saw last summer?
I think we have this. Well, what makes it different is that we're celebrating Mardi Gras, and we got the Soul Rebels with us, and they're coming on stage with us and jamming, and we just see what happens from there. So it's just like we're playing in New Orleans in front of our people down there. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to have them on the road, and we're just bringing a little bit of New Orleans Mardi Gras to the East Coast and wherever else we're going.
Absolutely. A little Mardi Gras, New Orleans flavor in West Virginia. And I know we're a DC station, but it's a general region. It's right over Virginia. It's close enough for us to cover it on the radio, baby. And speaking of you've come to actual DC proper. I think you've done the White House, like 5 times or something? You've done the National Christmas Tree lighting with I guess it was the year of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, I think. But man. Yeah. What was it like? I mean, what's it like coming to these big ceremonies, especially with the Obamas? That must have been cool.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I played it, like you say, about 5 or 6 times. The National Christmas Tree lighting was very hard for me to play in that cold weather because of the brass, but we got through it, and it's always wonderful. But DC has always felt like a second home to me as far as the love and the excitement that I get from the audience and how many people come out since I've been coming up there. Going up there for a while. I don't know what it is, but I think, DC having the go-go music, which is a regional thing up there, and we having the brass band and the brass music, it just feels like we a perfect match culturally there. And it's been a wonderful place. I absolutely love playing in DC whenever I get a chance.
Great. And that's funny. I never thought about that in the cold at the tree lighting because, your hands on the trombone, I guess it kind of freeze to the brass.
Well, not my hands, my lips.
Oh, true.
Yeah, my lips. I thought I was going to be like the guy off Dumb and Dumber when he was in Aspen. That's how I felt with my mom. It's very hard to play and stay in tune up there, but it was very difficult.
Thank you so much for quoting the Jeff Daniels and Dumb and Dumber. I love that movie. My mind went to A Christmas Story when he puts his tongue on the pole. But
yeah.
It's the same thing. But Jeff Daniels, the tongue stretches more in that.
Yeah, that's right.
You were born in 86. I'm 84. So our touchstones are basically the same. We watched Dumb and Dumber growing up.
Yeah, we sure did.
Oh man, all the way to Aspen. All right. Well, you weren't Aspen. You were born in New Orleans in 86. Troy Andrews, the birth name. But I want to remind our listeners, you had a pretty famous, at least musically inclined family. Like your grandpa Jesse Hill had an R&B hit. Oop Oop I Do. Your great uncle Walter Nelson played with Fats Domino. Your mom would do some of those, grand marshaling of the second line parades and stuff. So it was music just all around you, I guess. Like you probably never knew any other life other than just jazz, like all around you growing up, right?
Well, just New Orleans music in general. I started playing when I was very young, 4 years old, marching in the street parades, the brass band second lines that we do in New Orleans. And of course, my grandfather, he was basically almost retired by the time I was starting to play a little bit, but my brother learned a lot from him. And he would pass that knowledge down to us through my brother. I guess I was learning it from him. And my uncles, I didn't meet them. I was too late. I was born too late to meet them, but it's a long history. And but in my neighborhood, the Treme neighborhood, which is the home of the Rebirth Brass Band, Tuba Fast, the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, actually the Soul Rebels, some of their original members come from there. and we were just in a real musician village type of thing. And so music was always around me, not only in my house, but I can go around the corner and I can see people like Kermit Ruffins playing on the street, Shannon Powell. And as I got a little bit older, in my 11, 12 years old, I started to be around the Neville brothers a lot. So, and then there's of course, the Mardi Gras Indians that we have in New Orleans. So it's in New Orleans just is just full of music on mostly every street corner there. So, but in my particular neighborhood, the Treme neighborhood, there was no way not to escape music. Everybody played music, and it was the home of a lot of brass bands. So, there's some type of way that I would have been a part of music. Sometimes, even if my family wasn't musically inclined, I would probably be a part of it because that was my surroundings.
Right, exactly. And you mentioned your older brother, I guess James. But was, I guess he was already on trumpet, so that's why you went to the trombone. Is that why?
Well, I think so. Plus, I'm sure that was probably one of the other only instruments that worked in the house besides the ones that was taken already. And he probably puts me to the trombone because every trumpet player in New Orleans has a sidekick trombonist.
Mm.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, if you go way back in the times of Louis Armstrong, the trumpet was always the star, and then the trombone player would be the sidekick. And my brother, he likes to remind me I'm still his sidekick.
Well, it's trombone shorty, not trumpet shorty. I think you made a name for yourself. I wouldn't. This ain't no
Yeah, yeah,
sidekick. Robin became Batman, baby.
yeah, yeah.
But hey, did I
That's
read
right.
that what like at eight you're talking about growing up in that neighborhood, but did I see that at age 4, Bo Diddley called you up on stage, invited you on stage at the New Orleans Jazz Heritage Festival at like in 1990, something like that, age 4?
Yeah, yeah. I was playing with my brother's band. We were doing the parade segment, the second line segment of the jazz festival during that time, and my mom promised me to get a snowball, which is a snow cone everywhere else, but New Orleans is a snowball, and we were going to find it in the jazz festival. And I was just playing this high trombone note, whatever it was, as a kid, uh, and I think Bo Diddley, he heard that note, and my mom said that he would say, "Who is that stepping on my set?" And she was telling me, "You can't do that. People are playing. You can't do it." And the crowd lift me up and crowd surfed me to the stage. Took me from my mom. Crowd surfed me to the stage, and there's a popular picture of me with him bending over me and just watching me play. I don't think I was playing much, but I was able to get some sound out of it, and that's how that happened.
That's so cool. Well, yeah, I guess the crowd. I mean, when you're 4 years old, it's a little easier to pass up to the stage than a grown ass man. But
Yeah.
that's so cool. And then I want to remind our listeners, as you get older and are starting to pursue it a little more, you attend the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, and wasn't John Batiste was there with you at the same time? I know you guys later, a couple years ago, reunited with what was it? We Are, his Grammy-winning album. You were on that. But what was it like going to school with John? Were you two of you fast friends?
Yeah, well, we like family. We talk every other day for like literally. I talked to him probably last week for a few minutes, and my days are all mixed up. It could have been 2 days ago, but we grew up together since we were probably around 11 years old. We met each other, and he was actually my first keyboard piano player in my group, and
Okay.
in this band. He helped me start the band, Orleans Avenue,
Huh.
and he played with us up until he went up into Juilliard and New York. And since then, we've been playing and jamming with each other. Uh, for many years. Some of it is recorded, some of it is not. And then we did the We Are record together. He called me and asked me, can I play on it? And I sent it back either the same night or the next morning. And but he's a brother of mine. We just hung out a little bit at the Grammys earlier this month,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud of him and everything that he's doing. But it was wonderful because we would challenge each other to get better. Even though he played the piano and I'm playing the horns, the language is still the same. So he would play something to me, and I would have to play it back to him, and I would play something to him, and he'll play it back to me. And and just a couple of months ago, when he came to New Orleans, we hung out at the studio, and we talked for a little minute, and then we fell right back into old habits of playing just he and I for many hours.
I love this. I guess I never realized that you guys were such good friends for, you guys you mentioned Dumb and Dumber. You and John Batiste need to wear the blue and the orange tuxes one day.
Yeah, we do maybe for Halloween, but yeah, we go way back. I mean, all the way back. Like blood couldn't make us any closer.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, remind our listeners too. Didn't you play in Lenny Kravitz's horn section for a while, like the Aerosmith tour, like that? How much did that cut your teeth?
Well, besides, I mean, coming from New Orleans, I think up until that point, the biggest thing I probably did was play at the jazz festival with the Neville brothers. They were probably the biggest act I can think about at that time, and the biggest crowd. So when I finished high school in '04, a couple of months later, '05, right before Katrina happened, I had joined Lenny's band a couple of months before that. And I was always interested into the funk, and because of my time with the Neville brothers and my brother spending time with Dr. John and Alan Toussaint and the Meters and people like that, I was always more interested in that type of music. And my brother had a funk group that he started to do some funk things, and I would play with him. And so that was in my blood and feeling it. And when I got with Lenny, I was already interested in rock and everything. I would listen to Nine Inch Nails and the Red Hot Chili Peppers while I was at the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. I was supposed to be listening to something else for assignment, but it didn't move me. That type of stuff did. Earth, Wind, and Fire, and all of that. And when I got with Lenny, it was just, I mean, if I was gonna approach funk rock, what better teacher can I ask for than him? And I just studied him every night, and we still work together. We just did a song for the movie Rustin, the
Yeah,
closing title, that we just did. But that
Coleman
that
Domingo,
shaped,
baby, great performance. He's
yeah,
up for an Oscar next week.
yeah, he's up for an Oscar. Congratulations to him. And just watching him. I think my first show with him was in Mexico City in front of about 80,000 people in a big arena, and I just watched and studied the way that he approached the stage and how much rehearsing we did. And um, I can say that I knew that I would be a professional musician, but I didn't know how I would approach the stage and how I would approach the music if it wouldn't have been for that experience with Lenny. And you can see a lot of resemblance in me when I'm performing because of my studying of him and him being a mentor to me.
Oh yeah, Lenny Kravitz, the real deal, man. He's an artist. Hey, you mentioned real quick. You mentioned Hurricane Katrina. Didn't you do like a benefit album, and then you also you helped reopen the Superdome, like a Monday Night Football thing with was it U2 and Green Day? I think.
Yeah. I didn't do a benefit album. I think we played on a album that was.
Okay.
Uh, I think it was an album that we did a tribute to Fats Domino, and maybe some of the contributions went to a charity or something like that.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
it was me, Lenny, and James Brown original horn section with the Rebirth Brass Band on that song. A whole lot of loving Fats Domino song, and we did do the reopening of the Superdome for the Saints game with Green Day and U2. That's right, along with the Rebirth Brass Band and Newbert Brass Band.
Wow. I mean, you've done it all. Football games, NBA All-Star game. You've done it all. But I wanted to, before we run, I wanted to talk about how sort of your music career sort of opened doors to do other stuff, like even on TV and movies and things. Like not only, every late night show known to man, but like scripted stuff like Aaron Sorkin's Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip and David Simon's Treme, which was your, childhood neighborhood. Like, what was it like getting to act in? I mean, that's the guy that freaking made The Wire, man, and you're acting. He's coming to your neighborhood. I mean, what was it like getting to act? Do you like TV?
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. It's just I'm thankful for the discipline that myself and John uh, was taught at Noka practicing and different things. So when I got to do the acting thing, I just had to really, I was really being myself. So, but I just had to remember the lines, and that took a lot of practice. But as I did it, kept doing it, I became more comfortable with it. But it's a fun, different avenue to do. It was a lot of fun, and David Simon, he wants to get it right and make it feel as authentic as it could possibly be. So he got people from the neighborhood that never act a day in their life and never even thought about it and got them to do it, and that's how you get that authentic feeling from it. So when I see the people that they just were like, hey, how about you say these lines, and that just gave me more confidence to do it, and it was a lot of fun to be able to do that.
Maybe that's you mentioned you just feel you can't an inexplicable connection to DC. Maybe there's some ties there somehow because David Simon was he's born in DC and then of course all his shows were Baltimore. So yeah, maybe there's some connection there. I don't know.
I think there's some type of connection that we got. Like I tell you, DC is one of those places for me, and the love and the feeling and the excitement is it feels like home all the time.
It's a vibe, man.
That's
Final few minutes here. I want to talk about sort of like a whole new generation of young ones. You know, you and I are pretty much the same age, but like a whole the newer generation probably knows you from like a bunch of stuff, like the Princess and the Frog song that Oscar nominated down in New Orleans. You played on that. A Disney
yeah.
movie, the Caldecott Medal for your children's book. You even got a Sesame Street Muppet, I think Nate created after you. Uh, what's it like, being able to pass it down to the next generation? Is that sort of something important to you with these Disney movies and stuff?
Well, it's very important because it's an unspoken tradition in New Orleans. That's the same thing that happened to me musically from some of the older musicians that passed down the tradition to me without just being there, and that's just what we do. That's just a part of the culture there that we do that. We're not taught to do that. That's just what we see. It's just a natural instinctive thing that we do, and it's been a wonderful thing to be able to reach the younger generation because I have a lot of people now come to the show with their kids that their kids brought home my children's book, and their kids actually taught them about me, so they bring their kids to my show. Like I'm talking about 4 5 years old, 7 years old, and it's just an amazing thing. And to be able to be an inspiration to the young ones and let them know that they can do anything that they put their mind to, especially through music, and get them involved in the arts. But the funny thing is, when I meet some of them, if they haven't watched YouTube of me or anything, when I meet some of them, they seem a bit disappointed because I'm not the kid in the book. I'm an old man to them.
We thought you were gonna be Shorty.
Yeah,
No, you're the old
they
man now.
yeah. They're like that. You're not. I'm like, that's me. I just grown up now. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of kids that's gotten that book and read the story, and they tagged me on Instagram, and I saw a really cute thing of one kid. He actually did sleep with his trombone or saxophone, one of those instruments. But it's just wonderful, to be able to reach those kids and give them some inspiration.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. He's three-dimensional. I thought he was two-dimensional on a picture book. He's not animated. What's going on?
That's right. That's
But yeah,
right.
everyone look into the Trombone Shorty Foundation, helping high schoolers too. Like you're always giving back to the next generation. That's great. Well, hey, you've
Yeah,
been generous with your time. Final question. I read that you said that the song "I'm Standing Here" would be your wrestling theme entrance. I'm a
that's right.
big WWE dude, to say nothing of the current controversies, and we're not gonna go into all that. But yeah, like what was your why is that the theme? Or I guess my better question would be like, who's your guy? Who was your was it Stone Cold or The Rock or what was it in
Well,
there?
actually, we're about the same age. I was a WCW guy.
Oh, you were with the Bischoff. You were
Yeah,
NWO.
yeah, NWO, too sweet for life. That's right. But
Rest in
my
peace,
guy,
Scott Hall, Razor
rest in
Ramon.
peace, Scott Hall. That's right. And actually, in a few days, when I'm finished, before I go home, I'm actually going to go to see Sting's last match. That'll be the ending of my era for real. So I wanted to go check him out. But standing here, it just sounds like that type of entrance thing. Like if the lights went out and that guitar, I mean, you could hear the people going crazy if I was a wrestler. But one of my favorite wrestler was Goldberg.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah, and I actually got a chance to meet him and hang out with him, and that was major for me. The childhood, Troy. I mean, I still go back and watch some of those matches. That was a big part of my upbringing.
You should have speared him and jackhammered him.
Oh my God! Well, I got to put on a little bit more weight.
Well, maybe hit him with the trombone, like what was it Jeff Jarrett did with the guitar all the time. You could use
I
the
think we could
trombone.
do that. Yeah. Now I can do that. I might be able to get him with a small spear, but
If
yeah,
someone
man.
AEW needs to be listening to this interview, invite you to one of their events, or they should have you over to WrestleMania. Like I feel like you need to do a appearance somewhere.
Yeah. I got my man. What is his name? Austin Creed. He plays the
Yeah.
trombone with New Day, right?
Oh yeah, there you go. New Day with
Yeah.
Kofi and
Yeah.
isn't Big E's been out with like a neck injury, right? But
Yeah. I don't think he can. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to wrestle, or he might have to slow it down a little bit. They got to tag me in. Yeah, I could take over for Big E for a few minutes.
I love it. Well, hey man, this has been so much fun. We're talking wrestling and Dumb and Dumber. We've covered the gamut here, so I really appreciate it. Everybody, come on out to Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia this Saturday, March 2nd. You might hear some stuff from his Grammy-nominated album Back of Town. You might hear Made in New Orleans stuff with New Breed Brass Band. You never know what you're gonna hear, but you got to come out. Trombone Shorty.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, thank you so much. This was fun.
Hey, man, this is one of the fun ones. I appreciate you and it put a smile on my face. Thank you.
All right. Well, you're always welcome here in DC. I mean, rock West Virginia first, but we can't wait to have you back in the nation's capital as well.
Looking forward.
All right. Later, man.
Later.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.